Recorded live in Denver, this is the Super Meeting Podcast from Nexstar. Welcome to the Super Meeting 2025 podcast. My name is Nick Rao, digital marketing coach here at Nexstar, but today I will also be your podcast host. I am joined on this episode of the podcast by Anuj Khanna from ComfortConnect. Anuj, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Nick. Pleasure to be here. Fantastic venue you guys have selected for the Nexstar Super Meeting. I'm looking forward to sharing a bit about what ComfortConnect is doing in the marketplace.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's been magic ever since we got here, and I've always thought of it as like, this is the party that we get to throw. So yeah. I love that people are going to get to experience this little portion of the party whenever they need it. It's a little portion they can bring with them.
Yeah, awesome.
So super cool. I wanted to talk with you about ComfortConnect. One of my things that when we were kind of talking and getting to know each other was that you were sharing with me this calling that you had about there was this need in the marketplace for something, and I think it's wonderful. It lines up so well with this like hero's journey that you hear about in storytelling and things like that. So I'm really intrigued. Tell us more about what called you to action. What were the things that you saw that made you think, you know what, there's something here that needs to exist?
Yeah, so my background, I think I'm going to rewind a bit and share a bit about my background. So I think I can say this in this room, but I'm a recovering private equity investor. And I say that somewhat facetiously, but not entirely. And I spent the first third of my career doing kind of distressed and turnaround investing. Working with businesses that were facing a variety of different operational challenges, financial challenges, broken business models, investing capital into those businesses, and then helping to turn those businesses around. My experience in private equity is actually rather unique, okay? Because about 50% of my time I spent working very, very closely with portfolio companies to execute value creation initiatives.
Okay.
Not necessarily what most people think of private equity, which is transactional, chase one deal, then the next deal, the next deal.
Yeah. So run up the numbers on make it look good kind of thing.
Exactly. Okay. So I was really in the trenches with our portfolio companies. So one of the things that as I got towards the end of my private equity career, my last investment was a very large home services platform that we bought.
Okay.
It had about 110 locations. At that time, it was the second largest residential HVAC and plumbing platform in the country.
Oh, wow.
That we bought from a major OEM. And so I spent the better part of 4 years from 2013 to 2017 working knee deep in this business to restructure and return it to profitability. And so I learned a tremendous amount about the space, challenges from the consumer side, challenges from the contractor side, and I saw opportunities on what could be improved in the business model. Okay.
Yeah.
At that point in time, I was at the point in my career where I was trying to make a decision. Do I continue to focus on private equity? And there was a few things that wasn't as fulfilling as I wanted. Okay. The first was it's a very transactional business.
Yep.
And the part of private equity that I enjoyed was working with the portfolio companies.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to build something on my own from scratch. Okay. And then through that experience of owning that large business, there were two things that struck me as very, very odd about this industry. The first was the sales, even though it's the second, third, or fourth largest sale a homeowner will ever make an HVAC system, it's still a very transactional sale.
Yeah.
Right? There's no long-term consumer stickiness. And the second thing was we had 220,000 maintenance agreements in that platform when we bought the business. When we sold it, we had 220,000 maintenance agreements. We could not grow the maintenance agreement base.
Wow.
And I said to myself, why is that? And it's the way that maintenance agreements have been used in this industry as a customer retention tool. My opinion is that they're broken, okay? And they're not driving the right long-term relationship between contractor and consumer.
Interesting.
And they're really used more as a way to generate another sales lead, which I think destroys trust.
Okay.
So those two reasons, transactional sale and maintenance agreement, being broken, I said, I think there's a better way to run these businesses. So we started what was formerly Service First Financial, now ComfortConnect, with the goal of helping the industry transition from a product-focused sale to a subscription or subscription-like service for home comfort replacements that delivers more value to the homeowner and more value to the contractor as well.
Yeah, because definitely that's something that Nexstar talks about a lot. Nexstar members will know the 8 laws of double-digit profit, and one of them being that grow long-term relationships. You are trying to build those relationships, and that's so important. And I do believe that even as the digital marketing coach, when we go in and talk to members about how they're utilizing their membership programs, things of that nature, it is very, like you said, it is more of a conversion catalyst. Like, correct. Oh, I'm only going to use it when I can't really make the sale, and I'm real close, but I'll use it for that. Yeah. But it really isn't building the right value.
Correct.
Is that kind of what I'm hearing
That's
from you?
Correct. I'll give you an example. What I found when I owned that large platform was that we were putting many thousands of maintenance agreements into the pipeline, but every year we were losing just as many.
Yep.
And when we dug into
a good bucket with a hole in the side of it.
A good bucket with a hole, exactly, right? And so when I dug into why that was, it was because we were putting a new system in, throwing a maintenance agreement in, and then trying to get them to renew. Maybe they renewed for a year, maybe they renewed for a second year. But then every time we were out there, we were trying to sell them something else. Rather than just doing the maintenance and doing it right the first time up front, we were trying to sell them something else. We destroyed trust, customer cancels. Now you're back in this cycle of marketing to hope you get the next service call.
Yeah, and marketing new leads, not repeat leads, which are much more expensive.
Much more expensive, correct? So I said to myself, there's got to be a better way to deliver the homeowner what they want at the original install. Put everything on that system, right? All the IAQ, all the upgraded filtration, everything else, and then deliver that homeowner a completely worry-free experience throughout their useful life of that system.
Yeah.
Right? And so that was the genesis for us starting ComfortConnect. I ended up selling that platform to a publicly traded company in Canada. And in Canada, the market for home comfort is actually very, very different than the United States. Millions and millions of people do not own their systems. They actually rent them.
Yeah, it's rental systems up there a lot, right?
And so the buyer of my portfolio company bought the business with the goal of bringing that model to the United States. I had taken a year off, was doing some high school basketball coaching and things like that, doing yoga and a variety of other things. And I said to myself, I think there's an opportunity to help this industry adapt to changing consumer purchasing behavior, this move towards subscription-like services, and deliver a higher value consumer experience while also delivering a higher value contractor sale at the kitchen table.
Where did you originally see that value? Is that something that you were seeing like just in general? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you see the Spotifys and the Netflix and like, oh, people are just kind of in this mindset of subscription-based services. Was it there, or was it something more specific into the home services of like an opportunity, or maybe a combination of both?
So it was a combination of both. So if you look at a variety of different industries, virtually every industry that we all participate in today has transitioned this way. You can look at entertainment. You mentioned Spotify and Hulu and things like that. We used to buy DVDs and CDs. Yep. What do we do today? Right? Yeah. We pay monthly for access, use, and control. Okay? And we don't own a single piece of entertainment.
Yep.
If you look at the transportation industry, buying a vehicle used to be the primary mode of transportation. What do we do today? We have Uber, Lyft, 20 to 30% of every new car is leased. Okay. And then you even have things like Volvo Care and these like super subscriptions that give you tires and maintenance and insurance all fully bundled, and you can get a new car every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Even Peloton, right, which used to sell bikes, has now moved to a worry-free subscription-like service legally structured as a lease that gives you the bike, the shoes, the weights, and the content service for $99 a month.
Yep.
And so the question I asked myself was why? Why are all these industries transitioning this way? And it comes down to access, use, and control without any of the risks or burdens of product ownership. So give me the benefits that these things provide without the upfront cost burden or the ongoing responsibilities and risks of product ownership.
Got it. So it sounds like this is kind of really that passion project for you of like what really helped you said, you know what, I see that there's options here. I see that there are some things already going on here. People are already buying CDs. Yeah. But there's a better tomorrow that I can help provide. There's something different about what we do than what everybody else is
Correct. Doing. In the home services space, informed by my experience with a very large platform, I said, I think there's something we can put together here and create a very compelling model for the residential HVAC, plumbing, and generator space.
Got it. Did that come before or after you guys had partnered with Nexstar? Because you guys have been a partner with Nexstar for quite some time, right?
Correct. So I started working on the business model in 2018. We officially launched in 2019, and we became Nexstar strategic partners in 2021. So the idea or the concept was formed before Nexstar.
Okay.
But when we joined Nexstar and we were kind of launching the business, I knew of Nexstar from my time in the industry and said, this is an organization, the values of which we want to be part of. Nexstar operates its business very similar to how we operate our business from an integrity perspective, from a morality perspective. And I said, if we're going to go do this, we need to have people that are respected in the industry also, kind of supporting this. And I met Julian fairly early on. And I think Julian appreciated what we were doing to innovate in the space.
Yeah.
And we became a strategic partner, I believe, in August of 2021.
Nice. Yeah, like it definitely seems like we have been pushing in that direction, and that this is like you guys were almost ahead of the curve on like, okay, there's new technology, there's new pieces that need to be integrated here.
Correct.
But I'm assuming that didn't end. That it wasn't like, oh, we saw this thing, we partnered with Nexstar, it's good. Tell me a little bit more about like how things have continued to evolve since getting into Nexstar.
Yeah. So just like Nexstar has continued to evolve its business model, we have as well. When we first launched ComfortConnect, we went to market primarily with just our worry-free Premier program, this all-inclusive worry-free home comfort solution for homeowners when they're facing a large repair or a replacement decision. As we began working more and more with Nexstar contractors, some of the biggest ones, what we've realized is that point of sale financing is somewhat of a pain point for most contractors. Okay, and it really comes down to a few things. One, there's a bunch of prime financing providers, but then they don't serve kind of the lower credit tier. Okay. So what a lot of contractors find their sales folks doing is bouncing from app to app to app to get approvals, having to re-enter information. It becomes an inefficient process at the kitchen table and a bad experience actually for the homeowner.
Yeah. Because it's got to not feel great when they're like, all right, let me try the third one to see like if we can get you what you need here.
Exactly, right? And you get declined. And so it creates this poor experience. And that Nexstar members shared that with us. And then the other thing that we realized internally is that we were ahead of the curve in terms of this transition for the home services industry. And we needed to give Nexstar members and other contractors the ability to do business with us in a way where they clearly understand it and they are already doing it today. So when I say that, what I'm referring to is traditional consumer installment loan financing. Okay, so over the last kind of year or two, we have now integrated and expanded beyond our worry-free Premier program. So contractors that are partnered with us have access to our worry-free Premier program, first, second, and third look installment loan options, and deep subprime lease-to-own options, all from one single platform, one single consumer application, gives contractors access to everything. So no switching between platforms anymore and wasting times, driving 90% approval rates. About 95% of our applications are decisioned instantly at the point of sale. And most importantly, a lot of the prime lenders today will market very, very attractive dealer fees and rates and things like that, but they reserve those for the highest credit quality consumers, the 780 plus FICO scores and the like. Our approach is a little bit different. Okay, what we're building is if we can't approve them through our platform, okay, you're likely not going to get them approved anywhere else either. Plus, we have very, very attractive prime financing options as well, all fully bundled.
Got it. Yeah, so it does really sound like this is something that Nexstar has really pushed for our members to utilize. Is our membership is all about, we want to give you the thing that you need. Yes. We're going to look into that. We are going to do our thorough investigation step. We are going to figure out everything that it is you need, and we want to help you live that best life that you can. And so this seems like kind of growing off of that. How do we make sure that Nexstar members have that ability to provide what they think is best?
Yeah. So I think when it comes down to, the theme of this super meeting is, own your market. Yeah. And from our perspective, there are a couple different ways Nexstar members can do that. So one is no customer left behind. Okay. And what I mean by that is if a contractor goes into a home and the contractor wants to do business with that homeowner and the homeowner wants to do business with that Nexstar member, ComfortConnect is going to be there to maximize their chances of being able to get that homeowner approved for whatever they're seeking to purchase from that contractor. Okay, so no homeowner left behind. The second thing is, as we think about Nexstar members using financing to own their market, okay, our Premier program is the only financial program in the market today that truly creates long-term customer stickiness. So under the program, a homeowner gets a brand new system installed in their home, all of their maintenance, all of their consumables, so UV bulbs, filters, and things like that. Full parts and repair coverage. It's transferable, all for a low monthly payment. The homeowner is legally not allowed to have anyone else touch that system. Okay. So what that does for the contractor is it creates true long-term stickiness between contractor and consumer. And we also have some other bells and whistles like rewards programs in there that further enhances the stickiness between contractor and consumer, so that if they have any home comfort needs, they're coming right back to that contractor for all of their future home comfort needs, because they have currency that they can spend that we fund directly, on the benefit for the benefit of that homeowner. So we're creating long-term consumer stickiness on that side. Plus, they're getting recurring revenue, right? So under our Premier program, contractors get paid up front, plus they get valuable recurring revenue every single year from that homeowner, without having to worry about the customer canceling the maintenance agreement, without having to worry about calling to get them to renew. It's all just fully bundled, just like other subscription services.
Got it. So yeah, it kind of makes it easy. And I think one of the things that's really intriguing to me about it is that it helps the technicians ease one of their worries. I'm assuming that is something that kind of also spurred you, was like, if a technician's in the home and they're like, I don't really want to offer this option. I don't know if that's available to them. And I don't want to make them feel bad. So I don't want to put something in front of them that they can't go forward with. So then you're putting up your own filters, you're putting up your own barriers to providing what you really should, and providing all of those options because you maybe already have that judgment there. But what this sounds like it does is opens that up so that our members can really spend that time in the home, not worrying about, okay, will this person be able to afford this? But just focusing on, what does this person need and how can I make sure that I get all my brain power on what they need?
What is the right solution for that homeowner, not what they can afford, right? Oftentimes I've heard, I think Julian say this in the past, and I'm a big believer, is homeowners don't object to price, they object to what they're getting for the price. Right? And so part of what we train when we onboard a contractor is to offer the right solution, right? With the, more return air and the higher indoor air quality, so that you deliver the comfort level that homeowner seeks. Generally, you won't get pushback on that. But if you're just selling equipment and the person next door is selling equipment and the person next door is selling equipment, that's when you start getting into, issues as a business owner of, how do I differentiate myself from the competition? So what ComfortConnect is seeking to do is equip contractors, Nexstar contractors, with the ability to differentiate themselves by serving all customers, regardless of how they want to buy it. They want the worry-free option? Great, use our Premier program. If they want traditional ownership and then for them to be responsible, use our installment loan options, okay? Or across the credit profile. So the most credit-worthy customer, we can serve them very, very attractively, and to people with no credit even.
No, and it's those points of differentiation that are so vitally important. It's funny, I'm seeing in the world of AI and how fast it's moving that there are kind of converging on one point. And the conversation in that space right now is, are all AIs going to be the same? Like, what is it? Why would you use Claude or Perplexity or ChatGPT or Gemini? All of them are just copying each other. They're all going to get to this singularity point. And so it really does come into needing to find that point of differentiation. I know we push into our members about that a lot, because without any meaningful differentiation, it comes down to just, it's a price war.
It's a price game.
And then, okay, so you're going to have to lower your prices. You're going to have to pay your technicians less, because the only thing that you have to adjust is what this is going to cost, lowering your margins, getting you into a worse place. So that differentiation is so wildly important, especially as we move forward, because I think we're going to start moving closer to those. Certain things are going to move into that singularity.
That's for sure. One of the things I've noticed, many contractors will focus on rates and dealer fees as the foremost thing when they're looking at a financing provider. What they don't look at is approvals. And the reason for that is a little bit of the industry's fault, is that most of the financing providers don't provide detailed information in that regard. And they do that intentionally.
I was about to say, this seems like a chosen choice.
For sure. It's a chosen withholding of information. Because they're approving only the highest, or once you start dropping lower, then they counter offer. with higher rates and fees and things like
Yeah.
that. So we're trying to take a different approach. We're being very transparent, right? On our rate card, we show members roughly where the FICO breaks, like where this certain plan will get approved, the FICO band for it. And I think that level of transparency will help contractors understand that, you know what, even though I may pay a 1 point more in a dealer fee on this, 120 month 999, if I can get 10% more approvals, it's not even close on how valuable that is.
Oh yeah.
Right, for that contractor. And so I think that's one of the things we're going to really be working with contractors is to show them the math around how important approval rates, and particularly in an environment like we are today, where the consumer is a little bit on the ropes, credit scores are down, a lot of first look lenders are tightening. Having a financing platform that can serve all your customers across the credit spectrum and drive the highest level of approvals is an extremely valuable tool to differentiate yourself in the market.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it's that economy of scale that a lot of our members are looking for, and that's why AI is getting so much attention right now. Is it's like, oh, this is a tool that we can use to grow. And that when we are doing something like this, like you're saying, hey, we're not necessarily just looking at, okay, how do we get the most money one time, but how can we really build something that's going to scale up and help them own that market? Because you're not just being that one transaction, but you are growing that relationship.
Correct. And we also see, in terms of scaling up, we also see when a contractor is using multiple providers, there's a lot of lost time that creates, right? One, at the kitchen table.
Oh, yeah.
Right? In terms of having to switch, to option 1, option 2, option 3. You lose some customers that way. But then even on the back end, for the admin teams on the back to ensure, and the accounting and everything else, now you're in 3 different platforms trying to make sure, did we get paid for this job? Did we get paid for that job? One of the benefits of the singular platform that we've built is not only is it faster and easier and more efficient at the kitchen table, but it's faster, easier, and more efficient on the back end as well.
Nice.
Right? And so allowing the team to focus on higher value things than having to log into different platforms all the time is something we're also driving.
Yeah, because I've seen that. I've had some members tell me even that what they do sometimes is they'll send out the credit approval as one of the things, hey, to get ready for your appointment, you should go and get your credit approved through one of these things to see what your levels are at, just so we know coming up. And it's, to me as a digital marketing coach, it's like, man, what a waste of a key piece of communication that you have to grow the relationship, to basically send a message out to them that says, hey, tell me how much money you have before I walk in the door so I know what I can pitch you.
Exactly.
It's such a rough thing. And so definitely this seems like a way to give members an opportunity back to have an extra piece of communication, as well as give time, energy back to the technicians who aren't having to worry about it either on the front end or in the home or on the back end.
Exactly right. I completely agree.
Beautiful. Perfect. So thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you want to say? Any last final thoughts you have for our audience?
I would just say, for contractors that may have an interest in learning more about our all-in-one point-of-sale financing platform, please go to www.comfortconnect.com, and you can book a call there with one of our team members. We would love to explore whether we can be helpful. To help you grow your business. We are a growth and innovation partner. We're not a financing vendor. Every single contractor that we onboard onto our Premier program, we go on site to do a rollout. We fly a team out there. The quid pro quo for that is we don't partner with everybody, but when we do partner with people, we go very, very deep. In terms of resources that we dedicate. We have former Comfort advisors on our team that have sold this type of program at a very, very high level, that have used financing at a very high level, and we deploy them into the field to help our contractors be successful. And so not only is there a tremendous amount of support on the front end for the contractor, but then also for the in-home sales reps. We have all US-based customer support and an extremely, extremely concierge level type relationship that we develop with our partners.
Love it. Beautiful. So Anuj, ComfortConnect, your growth and innovation partner. Love to hear it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for listening. Head on over to youtube.com/Nexstar Network to get your podcast fix and subscribe to get updated on all the newest releases.